At 2:14 in the morning, police found him sitting alone in his car, the engine still running. He wasn't trying to escape. He wasn't on the phone. He wasn't asking any questions. He just stared straight ahead and whispered the same sentence, over and over again. She was going to leave me. That was the moment detectives knew this wasn't a crime of passion. It was something far more deliberate. Ethan Miller, at 31 years old, lived a quiet, structured life in Portland, Oregon. He worked nights as a security systems technician, a job that was all about precision, routine, and control. People who knew him described him as calm, reserved, and predictable. He met Claire Donovan, who was 27, at the same office complex where she worked the front desk. Claire was the opposite of Ethan. She was warm, social, and easy to talk to. Their late-night shifts soon turned into long conversations. Those conversations turned into getting coffee, and within a few months, they were inseparable. 6 months later, Claire moved into Ethan's apartment. From the outside, they looked like any other normal couple. But inside that apartment, the balance of power was slowly, quietly shifting. Ethan never yelled at Claire. He never hit her. His control was much more subtle. He would constantly monitor her. He'd ask where she was going, who she was with, why her daily routine had suddenly changed. Claire started to feel like she was being watched, like she was living under a microscope. So, she began to pull away. She stopped sharing details about her day. She started staying late at work, just to have a few more hours of freedom. She changed her phone password, and that's when she met Marcus Reed, a 29-year-old co-worker. Marcus was different. He listened to her without judgment. He didn't interrogate her about every little thing. With Marcus, Claire felt safe. What began as simple emotional support slowly evolved into an affair. Claire started making plans to leave Ethan. She was just waiting, looking for the right moment, the right way to do it. That moment never came. On a Tuesday night, while Claire was in the shower, Ethan picked up her phone. A notification lit up the screen from Marcus. It read, "I can't wait until you're finally free." Ethan didn't confront her. He didn't yell. Instead, he just scrolled. He read weeks, maybe months, of their messages. He saw their plans. He saw the jokes they made about him. Quietly, methodically, he took screenshots of everything. That night, something inside Ethan Miller changed, not violently, but permanently. This wasn't just heartbreak he was feeling. It was humiliation. For the next 3 days, Ethan acted completely normal. He followed the same routine. He spoke in the same calm tone. He had the same quiet presence. Claire didn't notice a thing. On Friday night, security cameras captured Ethan returning home at exactly 9:47 p.m. He then waited. At 11:26 p.m., Claire came home. Neighbors would later tell the police that they heard no argument, no shouting, no signs of a disturbance, just silence. What happened next inside that apartment was a quiet confrontation. Ethan showed Claire the screenshots. She tried to explain. She told him she was afraid of him, of how he'd react. She said she had planned to leave peacefully. She insisted she never meant for it to end like this. Investigators believe the entire confrontation was brief. There were no signs of a prolonged struggle, no furniture knocked over, and that meant one chilling thing. Claire never believed he would actually hurt her. She underestimated just how far he would go. At 1:38 in the morning, a neighbor in the building called emergency services. They reported hearing a sudden, sharp noise earlier in the night. It wasn't an argument, not screaming, just a single, loud sound, and then complete silence. After that, they saw no lights turn on, no movement, and got no response when they tried to check. Police were dispatched to the apartment for a welfare check. When officers arrived, they found Claire's car still parked outside. They knocked on the door, but there was no answer. With help from the building manager, police entered the apartment. They found Claire in the bedroom. She was unresponsive, motionless. At first glance, the scene looked calm, almost too calm. There was no forced entry, no sign of a break-in, nothing was overturned. But the trained eyes of the officers noticed details a civilian would miss. The position of her body didn't look like it was from an accident. There were no immediate signs of a medical emergency, and certain parts of the apartment appeared to have been selectively cleaned, wiped down. This was no longer just a welfare check. It was now a potential homicide investigation. The case was assigned to Detective Laura Hastings, a 15-year veteran of the Portland Homicide Unit. Her first question was simple. Who else lived here? Ethan Miller was missing. His phone had been powered off. His car was gone. Within an hour, patrol units all over the city were actively searching for him. It didn't take long. at 2:14 a.m., just about an hour after the initial 911 call. Officers located Ethan. He was sitting in his car in a deserted industrial zone, not far from the apartment. The engine was still running. His hands were visible on the steering wheel. He was completely calm. He didn't resist arrest. When officers asked him what happened, he didn't ask about Claire. He didn't deny anything. He just said, "She was going to leave me." That was the moment the case changed from a mystery to a confession. The digital forensics team uncovered the story Ethan didn't tell. They found the screenshots of Claire's messages on his phone. They recovered deleted conversations from her device that confirmed the affair. But most damning were his internet searches in the 3 days leading up to her death. He had been researching betrayal, abandonment, and the emotional impact of being left. They also found a message Ethan had drafted but never sent, written just hours before the crime. This wasn't an emotional outburst. This was a decision. During his interrogation, Ethan remained eerily composed. He corrected the detectives on their timeline of events. He clarified small details about his and Claire's routines. He even pointed out small errors in their investigation so far. Detective Hastings later said in an interview, he believed he was justified. In his mind, her betrayal gave him the right. Ethan Miller was charged with second-degree murder. We often think that violence begins with a burst of anger, with shouting and rage, but sometimes it begins with a quiet realization, with the sting of betrayal, with the terrifying feeling of control slipping away. It begins with a quiet decision, made in complete silence. When Ethan Miller realized his girlfriend had betrayed him, what happened next wasn't impulsive. It was deliberate, and that's what made it so truly shocking. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into complex cases. Stay safe out there.